Now on CoastTV News.
More wet weather on the way today with a few showers and a couple of thunderstorms and staying cool. Drying out heading into the holiday weekend and still on the cool side. I'll have all the forecast details coming up next.
Deadly D.C. shooting, new details on the attack that killed Israeli embassy staffers. Help for the homeless, community invited to see support in action. A long time coming, the Rehoboth Beach Patrol Station is set to open today, and we'll tell you how far over budget the project ended up.
This is CoastTV News Today.
Good morning, I'm Elisa Weber. Matt Pensick has the day off. Thank you for being up with us during our 5 o'clock hour. It is Thursday, May 22nd, 2025. And this morning, I want to do a wellness check on First Alert Meteorologist Bob Trahey. Bob, I'm sorry about the Knicks last night. I'm glad the Mets won for you, but I'm really sorry, Bob.
Oh my gosh. I didn't see the game, but I heard that it was a big comeback by Indianapolis, and at least the Mets won. So thank you for the sympathy, Elisa, and good morning to you. We're seeing lots of clouds out there, and we're seeing some large puddles and wet roads from last night's rain. It has dried out a little bit now, but we're still cloudy and wet out there, and we are watching an area of low pressure developing off the New Jersey coast, and that is shifting our winds to the north. We still have unsettled weather, though, with more showers on the way for today and maybe some afternoon thunderstorms. Temperatures are cool. That's been the theme the last few days. Right now, mid to upper 50s, and we're looking at those winds starting to come in out of the north now, a little gustier at the coast with that low off the coast. So gusty winds at the beaches, not as gusty inland areas. So let's walk you through it once again. Lots of puddles and wet roads out there, 50s and 60s this morning. Could see some breaks in the overcast today, but it remains cool. And then by this afternoon, maybe some gusty showers and thunderstorms. Not expecting severe weather, but that'll be the case this afternoon into this evening, and then those storms dying down at sunset. Day part forecast does have the clouds this morning and the damp conditions, 50s and 60s, and this particular forecast has storms beginning as early as 1 p.m. So have the Coast TV weather app handy for those storms, and we continue with the unsettled weather today and then drying out into the holiday weekend. Much more on that forecast coming up a little bit later in the newscast.
All right, thank you, Bob. And we are now taking a live look at Washington, D.C. Police are continuing to investigate after 2 staff members of Israel's embassy in Washington were shot and killed late Wednesday night. And according to police, it happened outside the Capitol Jewish Museum. Police say a suspect has been arrested and is being interrogated after investigators say he chanted "Free Palestine" while in custody. NBC's Alice Barr shows us the latest on this developing situation.
This morning, a tragedy for the Jewish community and the country, striking in the heart of the nation's capital, where 2 Israeli embassy staff members were shot and killed overnight while leaving an event at the Capitol Jewish Museum.
The suspect chanted "Free, Free Palestine" while in custody.
The suspect, 30-year-old Elias Rodriguez, remains in custody as investigators look deeper into the motive.
Prior to the shooting, the suspect was observed pacing back and forth outside of the museum. He approached a group of 4 people, produced a handgun, and opened fire.
Police say he then went into the museum, was arrested, and pointed out where he left the gun. Israel's ambassador to the U.S. spoke about the victims, a young couple, Sarah Milgram and Yaron Lashinsky.
The young man purchased a ring this week with the intention of proposing to his girlfriend next week in Jerusalem. They were a beautiful couple.
President Trump posting these horrible D.C. killings based obviously on anti-Semitism must end now. Hatred and radicalism have no place in the USA. The U.S. Attorney General promising justice.
We'll be doing everything in our power to keep all citizens safe, especially tonight our Jewish community.
As the ambassador rallied against hate and fear.
We're going to overcome moral depravity of people who think that they're going to achieve political gains through murder.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu condemned the killings and said he'd ordered Israeli missions around the world to increase security. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Happening today, locals can learn more information on an initiative to support the homeless community. Terros, a homeless village, will host an open house tonight to share what the initiative is and the development plans. Earlier this month, the Sussex County Planning and Zoning Commission approved recommendations that will now be sent to the Sussex County Council. Some of those conditions include Tyros being limited to 28 tents. Mike Agnew, the man working to bring Tyros to life, says he has his own conditions for those living at the village at this time.
One of the requirements for Tyros will be, unless you're receiving Social Security or some other kind of a disability benefit, you're going to be working. If you're not employed, then you're going to be volunteering.
Tonight's open house takes place from 5:30 to 7:30. And an update on an affordable housing development planned in Lewis. Tonight, the mayor and council will discuss plans for Dutchman's Harvest. According to the agenda, council will consider reducing the distance between buildings and a change in square footage. It was back in December 2024 that Lewis directed ARPA funds to Dutchman's Harvest development. That money would be used to give people with certain income requirements new prices on homes. Some people who live in Lewis are all for this.
I think we definitely need it. I mean, we've seen over the years so many people, from other countries and just from the area that come down here to work during the summer, and they don't have anywhere to live.
And Lewis officials say there is a provision that this project falls through, the ARPA money will be reallocated. And also at that meeting, Lewis officials will discuss ADUs or accessory dwelling units. These are places like tiny homes, and according to the agenda, locals will have the opportunity to give feedback regarding residency requirements, rental licensing, taxes, and housing policies. All this will take place this morning at 10 o'clock. And new this morning, we expect to see a long-awaited project finally come to fruition. The new Rehoboth Beach Patrol Station could hold its grand opening today. Preliminary work began back in December 2023, and according to the city, the project cost $5.5 million, which was about $750,000 over budget. A ceremony is set to take place today at 10 a.m. at the building located at the end of Baltimore Avenue. And discussion and possible vote in Milton regarding the purchase of 6 lots downtown for $1.65 million. On your screen now, you can see those properties on Broad, Mulberry, and Magnolia Streets. The plan is to conduct a building between 25 and 26,000 square feet to house a new police station and community meeting space. Current plans also show there will be 60 parking spaces off of Magnolia Street. Milton officials will meet this afternoon at 2 p.m.
The town has no dedicated meeting facilities, and we struggle to find places to hold our meetings, and it's just too much going on in this town to have to go through that. So we have to make choices, and this is a choice we've made.
And Mayor Collier says there is room for a basketball court and a public restroom facility. Again, that meeting will be at 2 o'clock this afternoon. And new this morning, a bill introduced in Delaware could bring financial relief to families who lose a loved one to suicide. House Bill 174, called the Elizabeth Barnes Act, would create a state fund to help cover funeral costs, counseling, lost wages, and more. The bill is co-sponsored by Sussex County Senator Rex Hustable, and it would be funded by a 12-cent monthly charge on phone bills, similar to the one used for the 988 crisis line. That bill is assigned to the House Judiciary Committee. And we're just getting started in this hour of Coast TV News today. We still have a lot more news to get to. Coming up, oyster population prosperity, the major growth being reported from the industry. And focus on the 4th Street Preserve, we'll tell you about the initiative Lewis officials are set to discuss today. And saying the Pledge of Allegiance, whatever the weather, will take you to Bethany Beach in our Coastal Connections today. All that and more as Coast TV News Today continues.
If I asked you right now, I bet there are a couple of songs or phrases that you know every single word to without even having to think about it. The ABCs, Happy Birthday, and probably the Pledge of Allegiance. Well, did you know there is a group that meets every week at the Bethany Beach Boardwalk to recite that pledge? And in this week's Coastal Connections, we show you their inspiration and what else you need to know.
Every Wednesday at 8:30, you will see this crew at the Bethany Beach flagpole reciting the Pledge of Allegiance.
We're Americans and we're proud of being American. It's a good way to start the day.
The group has been gathering for 4 years, whatever the weather.
We've never canceled, have never. No, we've been here in the snow, the wind, you name it, any type, ice, bitter cold. Yeah. There might only be a handful of people here, but we're here, and we still do it no matter what the weather is.
God bless America.
anyone is invited to join in.
Some of our members go out on the boardwalk and we ask people who are here for this vacation to come join us.
And the inspiration to stand up and salute, both patriotic and personal.
So I come out here every week, I look at that flag and think of my father who fought in World War II when he was 18 years old. And I look up there and I see his face every week. And that's how I visit. That's how I visit my father.
Through the pledge and song, a sense of unity in a world where that sometimes seems impossible to find.
We are Americans. We're from different backgrounds, from different parts of the country. We're here in this glorious area at the beach. And it's just time for us to stand up and say, hey, we will not be forgotten. God bless America,
my home, sweet home. For Coastal Connections, I'm Madeline Overturf.
The time is now 5:15 and we are taking a live look outside at Rehoboth Beach this morning. Bob, it's dreary outside. Nothing really new these past couple of days. Again, it is late May. We're starting a holiday weekend and the weather is just, it's not what we thought it would be at this time of year.
It is not, Elisa. You know, this is the unofficial start to summer heading into the Memorial Day holiday weekend. It should be in the 80s, and we're not looking at that at all. It remains very cool. Showers, a coastal low developing today with brief downpours perhaps this afternoon, maybe a couple of thunderstorms, and cool with an onshore flow. Holiday weekend, I think Saturday and Sunday are dry, but then some showers possible Memorial Day. But I don't think it's going to be a washout, as we're still looking at scattered showers today, becoming more isolated to scattered Thursday. And then I think later Friday, Saturday, and Sunday we're drier, and then maybe a slight chance of showers Memorial Day. But I think we'll get the cookouts in and all the ceremonies too, and then an uptick in those showers by Tuesday. Right now we're looking at cloudy skies. We had another round of rain last night, but now it's just kind of low clouds and damp conditions and big puddles out there right now. You see this swirl off the southern New Jersey coast. That's an area of low pressure, and that will be moving to the north and east, but we're still in this moist flow, and we're looking at more showers back to the west that will be moving in as we go through the day. There's another upper level low that will kind of take over in the next couple of days and keep that unsettled pattern going into your Friday. Temperatures now out the door into the mid to upper 50s. We're seeing winds starting to turn in out of the north and northeast, a little gusty at the coast, over 20 miles per hour there. So it's going to be another raw day, lots of clouds, and temperatures only in the 50s and 60s this morning by noon. Maybe a few breaks in the clouds, then some showers, I think, with the afternoon heating in quotes, and maybe some gusty showers. Not expecting severe weather as we go into the afternoon and evening hours. We can't rule out some showers and some rumbles of thunder. Not expecting severe weather. Maybe clearing out for a time as we go through the overnight with partly cloudy skies, but then maybe starting your Friday with some fog. Another unsettled day with a northwesterly wind and temperatures on the cool side, mid-60s by noon, and then close to 70 by 3:30. Hopefully we're a little warmer, but it's still going to be below average temperatures. Can't rule out a spotty shower into the afternoon. Not expecting severe weather today. That said, though, watch out for gusty winds and heavy rain with some storms this afternoon. We dry it out into Saturday, and then Sunday I think we're also in good shape. Then Memorial Day Monday, we're going to see a system that could clip us with some showers, mainly in the morning hours. Otherwise, once again, I don't think we're looking at a washout on Memorial Day. And then down the road towards the end of May, we're looking at chilly conditions continuing, but I think there is a warm-up on the way for the end of next week. And we're looking at those winds that are becoming more westerly as we go into tomorrow, and they'll be gusting up to about 25 miles per hour, and that will start to dry us out finally. Here's your Paul Davis 7-day forecast. 66 today. Watch for those gusty afternoon showers and storms. Maybe a stray shower on Friday, otherwise a high of 68, and then better heading into the weekend. Not perfect, no, not by any stretch, but not bad. 69 Saturday, partly cloudy. 72 Sunday. Memorial Day, maybe a stray shower, but I left it out of the 7-day, 73, and then still kind of cool Tuesday into Wednesday. Maybe more showers by the middle of next week. Congratulations to Valerie Hopkins from Lewis. She has a new umbrella from Paul Davis and CoastTV.
Thank you, Bob. Happening today in Lewis, an update to plans for the 4th Street Preserve. Officials will discuss this at a mayor and council workshop. The nonprofit and Greater Lewis Foundation are working to permanently preserve 30 acres of land with both environmental and historic significance. Campaign Chair Jim Ford says locals and businesses have been coming together to protect the city's history and natural beauty.
The businesses, the restaurants, and some other businesses have stepped up and done a contribution to our efforts for our campaign, and we were trying to assist them in promoting, those events. So this is just a camaraderie and part of the whole partnership arrangement that reflects Lewis.
And that workshop will be underway in just a few hours at 10 a.m. And the Delaware Forest Service is making a change to one of its top recognitions. If you want your community to be recognized as a tree-friendly community, applications will be open next year. This is for the 2026-2028 Tree-Friendly Community Program. The agency says recognitions will now last for 2 years, and communities would have to reapply. The Delaware Forest Service made that change to reflect an even number year cycle. And happening today in Lewis, police are offering free car seat checks. Officials will help make sure they're installed correctly. People can head to the Lewis Elementary School from 1:30 to 4:30 p.m. and you do not need an appointment to attend this event. And up next, oyster population prosperity, the impact along the coast as that industry sees a major increase. Don't go anywhere. New overnight, a trash truck load caught fire Monday morning at the Tunnel Company's compound on Church Lane. According to the Indian River Volunteer Fire Company, they responded along with crews from Oak Orchard and Long Neck and the Delaware State Fire Police. Crews dumped the burning load and used water and a skid steer to separate and extinguish that trash. Fortunately, no one was hurt. And there's good news for the oyster population in the Chesapeake Bay. They're at the highest levels in the past 20 years. Maryland's Department of Natural Resources says the bivalve's population has grown to 12 billion in Maryland's water in the Chesapeake Bay. It credits the restoration efforts to NOAA, the Army Corps of Engineers, Waterman, and Horn Point Laboratory. The partners have worked to plant shells and baby oysters, or spat, within the bay to improve reproduction.
And those oysters are out there filtering, creating the ecosystem, reproducing, but also with the spat sets, it's helping the public fishery as well. So it's a win no matter how you look at it.
And the Department of Natural Resources says Mother Nature has helped with this bloom of oysters, and it says the salinity of the water has also created somewhat of a sweet spot for the reproduction in the Chesapeake Bay. And Bob, this week we've seen a trend of not very good beach weather, and this is a big beach weekend. I think a lot of beachgoers might be concerned if they can sit out in the sun this week, because we haven't seen the sun.
I know, that is the million-dollar question. It will dry out into the holiday weekend, Lisa, but I don't know. It's going to be a little cool to take a dip, I think, in the ocean this weekend. Could be a little stormy in Fenwick Island and Ocean City from noon on today, so watch for some gusty thunderstorms. Not expecting severe weather with temperatures into the 60s. UV index is low. And Lewis, you're looking at lower 60s this afternoon with some showers, so have your rain gear as you head up to Cape May on the ferry. Rehoboth, lower 60s. Can't rule out a thunderstorm later on. And the same for the Bayside. 1 to 2 foot waves there. And we're looking at that chance of storms as we go into the afternoon. We'll be watching those to see if they go severe. But right now, I think they stay below severe limits. And then into Crisfield also could become a little showery and stormy as we go into the afternoon. It finally does start to dry out Friday, and then looking better for the weekend, the holiday weekend. Not perfect. I'll have more on your holiday weekend forecast coming up in the next half hour.
After the break on CoastTV News today, gearing up for grand opening, how Rehoboth Beach could welcome a new building ahead of one of the busiest weekends on the coast. And Dutchman's Harvest Developing will tell you what possible changes Lewis officials will discuss for this affordable housing project. And DC deadly shooting, where the investigation now stands after 2 people were killed late last night. CoastTV News today will be right back.
Now on CoastTV News.
More wet weather on the way today with a few showers and a couple of thunderstorms and staying cool. Drying out heading into the holiday weekend and still on the cool side. I'll have all the forecast details coming up next.
Deadly DC shooting, new details on the attack that killed Israeli embassy staffers. Help for the homeless, community invited to see support in action. A long time coming, the Rehoboth Beach Patrol Station is set to open today, and we'll tell you how far over budget the project ended up.
This is Coast TV News Today.
Good morning, I'm Elisa Weber. Matt Pensick has the day off. It is now 5:28 on this Thursday morning, and today many people may start to travel to their Memorial Day weekend destinations. And that's why we're going to bring in First Alert meteorologist Bob Trahey to tell us about our late May forecast that it's been pretty gloomy and rainy so far. Good morning, Bob.
Yeah, not optimal travel weather by any means. Good morning, Elisa. Yeah, we've got a lot of big puddles out there, wet roads this morning, so travel with caution. Leave extra time to get to your destination and pack your patience as well. There'll be a lot of folks on the road. We're looking at lots of clouds now across Sussex County and much of Delmarva. Had some heavy rain last night, but we're temporarily drying out right now. But there are more showers back to the west, so grab your rain gear. And a coastal low developing off the coast of New Jersey. That is shifting our winds to the northeast and keeping our weather as kind of raw and damp this morning. And with temperatures out the door in the mid-50s, yeah, it has that raw feel to it. 58 in Ocean City, Indian River Inlet 58, 56 in Delmar right now, Redden 56. So you need the windbreaker, grab the umbrella and the raincoat too, because we're starting to see this northerly breeze around low pressure, especially at the coast now, gusting to 24 at the beaches. It has been gusty there, and watch for a little coastal flooding too as we go into the afternoon at the time of high tide. Otherwise, we're looking at lots of clouds this morning, temperatures in the 50s to around 60 degrees. Could see a spotty shower through the morning hours, and we could see a few breaks too from time to time, but I think the clouds are going to be the majority here with temperatures in the 60s. By the noon hour, we're still mostly cloudy. Then by 1:30, heads up, because we're looking at some heavier showers, maybe some thunderstorms. Not expecting severe weather, but definitely gusty winds, heavy rain, vivid lightning through 4 p.m. parts of Maryland, and even around 6 o'clock, still unsettled then. Drivecast gave it the yellow light for the morning commute with scattered showers. Keep in mind, still lots of big puddles out there and wet roads, and then the yellow light also for the PM commute, showers and storms. Some of the storms will be strong with heavy rain and maybe a little bit of flooding, especially in poor drainage areas. Much more on your forecast coming up a little bit later in the newscast.
Thank you, Bob. And our top story this half hour, 2 Israeli embassy staffers were shot and killed outside of D.C.'s Capital Jewish Museum on Wednesday night. Police say the shooting happened shortly after 9 p.m., just blocks away from the D.C. police headquarters. The 2 victims were leaving an event when the suspect approached a group of 4 people, opened fire, striking the victims. The 30-year-old suspect, Elia Rodriguez, remains in custody as investigators look deeper into the motive. Israel's ambassador to the U.S. spoke about the victims, a young couple.
The young man purchased a ring this week with the intention of proposing to his girlfriend next week in Jerusalem. They were a beautiful couple.
And President Trump responded to the tragedy by posting these horrible D.C. killings based obviously on anti-Semitism must end now. Hatred and radicalism have no place in the USA. An update on an affordable housing development planned in Lewis. Tonight, the mayor and council will discuss plans for Dutchman's Harvest. According to the agenda, council will consider reducing the distance between buildings and change in square footage. It was back in December 2024 that Lewis directed ARPA funds to the Dutchman's Harvest development. The money would be used to give people with certain income requirements new prices on homes. Also at that meeting, Lewis officials will discuss ADUs or accessory dwelling units. These are homes that are tiny homes, and according to the agenda, locals will have the opportunity to give feedback regarding residency requirements, rental licensing, taxes, and housing policies. This all will take place this morning at 10 o'clock. Happening today, locals can learn more information on an initiative to support the homeless community. Tyros, a homeless village, will host an open house tonight to share what the initiative is and the development plans. Earlier this month, the Sussex County Planning and Zoning Commission approved recommendations that will now be sent to the Sussex County Council. Some of those conditions include Tyros being limited to 28 tents, and tonight's open house will take place from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. And new this morning, we expect to see a long-awaited project finally come to fruition. The new Rehoboth Beach Patrol Station will hold its grand opening today. Preliminary work began back in December 2023. And according to the city, that project cost $5.5 million, which was about $750,000 over budget. The ceremony will take place this morning at 10 o'clock at the building located at the end of Baltimore Avenue. Newly introduced legislation in Delaware would expand background check requirements for education workers. House Bill 178, sponsored by Sussex County Representative Brian Shoup and Senator Brian Pettyjohn, would amend Title 14 of Delaware law, which would require all Department of Education employees to undergo criminal background checks and ongoing monitoring. It would also allow the department to screen contractors and third parties who may need access to student records. The bill has been assigned to the House Education Committee. And we are now taking a live look outside at Washington, D.C. this morning. The House is set to vote this morning on a bill that contains cuts to Medicaid, food stamps, and taxes. That's after negotiations, including a meeting between the president and GOP holdouts on Wednesday. The final bill contains a slew of changes as a result of those talks. Amy Kiley shows us what's in this final legislation.
We have kept this bill on a very delicate balance.
What President Donald Trump calls his one big beautiful bill contains a flurry of last-minute changes. GOP leaders say they added them to appease various lawmakers in light of their party's slim House majority. One change sets the state and local tax deduction as high as $40,000 for certain income groups. That's in addition to the bill's trillions of dollars in new or continued tax breaks.
This is about providing tax relief to middle-class families.
Previous analysis from the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office projects the bill could add to the national debt. It estimates an increase of more than $3 trillion. Some alterations appear aimed at easing the concerns of fiscal hawks. One moves up the timeline for new Medicaid work requirements. Prior CBO analysis shows the bill could cut hundreds of billions of dollars from that program over a decade. Republicans say they're targeting able-bodied adults. Analysts say some children, people with disabilities, and seniors also could feel an impact.
Now we have to save Medicaid. Hands off our Medicaid.
Other changes nix energy credits sooner than planned, stop the sale of certain federal lands, and remove the tax on firearm silencers. Another names a new kind of child savings account after Trump himself.
Everyone's going to have a lot to go home and brag about.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
We still have a lot more news to get to. Don't go anywhere. Coming up, proposed tax turmoil. We'll tell you the debate over potential increases in Camden. And Colts owner Jim Irsay passes away at the age of 65. More about the franchise with Baltimore roots. And record-breaking results, the outcome of this year's hunting season in Delaware. Stay with us on Coast TV News today.
It is 5:38 on kind of a dreary Thursday morning. Irish Ice Cam, overcast skies in Lewis right now, 57 degrees. We've got mid-50s across the board. It is a cool, damp morning, and we've got breezes starting to pick up out of the north now around low pressure. Breeziest along the coast right now, but we're dry for the time being. Just lots of low clouds. The rain is around us up the northeast coast and also some showers back to the west, and we'll be seeing more of these showers as we go through the day. Maybe some storms this afternoon. That grass is getting pretty high with the recent rain, so you want to cut the grass. Poor conditions today with the wet conditions. Better on Friday as we start to dry it out, and then I think it's good. Saturday and Sunday the grass should be dry and a good time to get out there and cut the lawn. Call the Coast TV First Alert weather phone.
Thank you, Bob. And Delaware broke records for hunting seasons this year. Denmark says state records set for both wild turkey and white-tailed deer for the 2024-2025 season. This is a historic first in Delaware with this year's turkey season of nearly 11% from last season. White-tailed deer harvesting increased almost 30% from last season, and Sussex County led the state in both of those categories in Delaware. And we have a traffic update in Salisbury. A closure heading to Benning Street will now be rescheduled. The city says Benny Street between Naylor Street and Marshall Street will now be closed from May 27th to the 28th. Crews there will be installing a new sewer manhole.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
Yes, episode 5 of Into the Trenches airs tonight. The Cape Henlopen Vikings look to capture their best start to a season in a decade. Here's a sneak peek.
On the next Into the Trenches.
I was on the offensive side of the ball for a long time. Being able to lean on Coach Frederick, I've learned so much from him.
I see a much different focus coming into this game.
Go big or go home. That means don't be afraid to fail.
I'm always going to be honest with you. I'm going to speak directly from the heart.
Hey, look at me, look at me. Hey, this is a pride moment, right? Take a deep breath, pride.
Into the Trenches, a new voyage on the Delmarva Sports Network and DSN Plus, sponsored by Preston Automotive.
Keeping it with the Vikings, a tough one late last night in girls soccer. Cape Henlopen fell in heartbreak fashion to the Charter School of Wilmington, 1-0 in double overtime. The Forces take on the winner of Middletown and Odessa in the next round on Wednesday. Elsewhere, Polytech beat Cesar Rodney 4-1, while Del Mar fell to St. Mark's 5-0. And in more somber news, Colts owner Jim Irsay passed away at age 65. Irsay presided over the team as CEO since 1997, winning Super Bowl 41 back in 2006. His father, Robert, moved the team from Baltimore back in 1983. Just a year ago, Irsay was being treated for what the Colts described as a severe respiratory illness. His daughter, Carly Irsay Gordon, was most involved with the team during his lifetime. That'll do for sports.
And coming up tonight on DSN, as you just saw, another exciting episode of Into the Trenches premieres tonight at 7:30. Then you can catch the final score at 10:30. In showbiz news now, starting with a music icon moving one step closer to a rare entertainment pinnacle. Here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
Lady Gaga is one award from an EGOT. The Oscar and 14-time Grammy winner just picked up a Sports Emmy for her Super Bowl performance of Hold My Hand. Now she just needs a Tony Award. Next stop, Broadway.
Cheryl Lee Ralph!
Cheryl Lee Ralph is also picking up more hardware. The Emmy and SAG Award winner is set to receive the Sidney Poitier Icon Tribute at the second annual Gotham Television Awards. The ceremony takes place June 2nd in New York.
And I began to realize, too, that this wasn't really talked about that openly.
Legendary filmmaker Martin Scorsese is going in front of the camera. Apple TV Plus has announced Mr. Scorsese, a 5-part portrait of the Oscar winner, featuring material from his personal archives and interviews with such friends and collaborators as Robert De Niro, Leonardo DiCaprio, Jodie Foster, and Steven Spielberg. Rebecca Miller, an acclaimed filmmaker herself, is directing and executive producing the documentary. No word yet on a release date. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
If you're having a rough week, you can cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from CoastTV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up right now for free at coasttv.com and get your weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday.
Definitely a dreary start to our Thursday. Gray slate skies on the Dry Tech Cam, 58 degrees in Ocean City. The unsettled pattern continues with more showers, and I think we could see some thunderstorms this afternoon. Drying out Friday and into the holiday weekend. Won't be perfect weather, but not too bad either. I'll have your forecast details coming up in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
Now 5:45, and we are taking a live look outside at Lewis this morning. And Bob, we've had some cool, rainy weather. It doesn't look like it's raining right now in Lewis, but the sun's definitely not out. Definitely a little ominous looking outside. Just another gloomy day on the coast.
Yeah, looking a little ominous, Lisa, but nothing as far as severe weather. It's just low-hanging clouds kind of adding to the gloomy conditions, and it has been a cool and unsettled pattern, and that trend continues today with showers. We have an area of low pressure developing off the coast, and we could see some downpours this afternoon and maybe some thunderstorms too. Some of those on the stronger side with an onshore flow, but we start to dry it out for the holiday weekend. Saturday and Sunday are dry. I think we could see some showers possible on Memorial Day, but not expecting a washout. We're looking at a lot of low clouds across the entire area now, and nothing in the way of showers in our immediate area. Maybe up near Dover, seeing a few light showers there. Heavier rain off the coast with the coastal low developing here off the southern coast of Jersey. And then we're also seeing a few showers around D.C. and back into Pennsylvania as well. And I think some of those showers will be moving in as we go through the day, as we continue in a very unsettled pattern. We have one area of low pressure off the coast, then an upper level low spinning across the Great Lakes, and this one will take over, keeping our weather kind of unsettled as we go through the end of the week. Right now, out the door, temperatures in the 54 to 58 degree range, so still pretty cool out there. The winds are starting to turn in out of the north with low pressure to our north and east, and a little gusty along the coast with the winds gusting up to 24 miles per hour at Indian River Inlet. Here's Futurecast this morning. We've got lots of clouds. clouds. Now, this model is showing some breaks in the clouds. I don't know about that. The clouds are going to be hanging pretty tough with temperatures in the 60s by noon, mostly cloudy skies. And then by the afternoon, I think we could be looking at some heavier showers building in. Here's 2 p.m. You see these yellow and orange areas, Georgetown, Long Neck, back through Delmar. Heavier showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms too. Maybe some of those on the strong side with gusty winds and vivid lightning. Down near Berlin and near Salisbury, also a chance of storms around 4 o'clock. And that threat continues through about 6:30. Then we're looking at things beginning to quiet down as we go through the overnight hours with partly cloudy skies. But then it clouds up again Friday morning. Could see a little bit of fog as we're in a cooler westerly flow, but also a little drier too. So I think we'll see more sunshine by the afternoon with temperatures into the upper 60s. And we still can't rule out a sprinkle here and there as we go into the evening hours. Not expecting severe weather today, but some of those storms definitely could be on the stronger side. And going into the weekend with a northwesterly flow, I think we're in good shape Saturday for your outdoor activities and cookouts. And then moving into Sunday, we're also in good shape. It's Monday. I'm a little concerned about Memorial Day. We're going to be seeing increasing clouds as we go into Monday with some showers possibly from Salisbury, especially points south. I've left them out of the forecast for now. Could get nicked by some showers, but then I think by the afternoon, conditions do start to dry out. It's going to be cooler than average, I think, as we go through the rest of the month into next week. I know that's not good news as we head into the first unofficial weekend of summer, as we're looking at northeasterly winds, easterly winds today becoming westerly tomorrow, and breezy and starting to dry us out as we go through time. Here's your Paul Davis 7-day forecast. Watch for those afternoon showers and storms, a high of 66, 68 on Friday, still a stray shower. And then by the weekend, not bad, not great, but not horrible either. Partly cloudy Saturday, 69, 72 on Sunday. And then Memorial Day, we could see a few showers, but I don't think it's going to be a washout, 73. And we're still looking at cooler than average temperatures Tuesday and Wednesday. Dry Tuesday, but then a better chance of showers by Wednesday.
Some Camden business owners are worried about the town's proposed budget. The plan, introduced in early May, would increase residential property taxes by 46% and commercial property taxes by 87%. Town officials say they have not yet raised taxes in more than a decade, but many business owners argue the hike was introduced a little with little transparency. With an already uncertain economy, business owners say the increase is making it even harder to stay afloat.
They have to work with the community and the business leaders here to be able to come to that resolution to where is it fair, where can people afford, this tax rate, and doubling it is not the answer.
And Camden is scheduled to hold its second and final reading of that budget on June 2nd. Happening now, millions of Americans are expected to travel 50 miles or more for Memorial Day weekend, and the majority of travelers will be driving to their destination, which means a lot of traffic. CNN's Jen Sullivan shows us what drivers can expect on the roads and what passengers can expect in the skies.
Memorial Day is the unofficial start to summer. It also means the start of a busy travel season. AAA estimates more than 45 million people will travel between Thursday and Monday. That's almost 1.5 million more travelers than last year and would be a new record for Memorial Day travel. Roughly 39 million people are expected to hit the roads.
87% of the people who are traveling over Memorial Day are expected to drive.
AAA says the worst times to drive are Thursday between 1 and 9 p.m. and Friday between noon and 8 p.m. And the worst time to return home on Memorial Day is between 4 and 7 p.m.
You want to leave as little the chance as possible because there are so many things you can't control when you're on the road. Other drivers, construction, the weather.
There is good news for drivers.
The price of crude oil has come down significantly.
According to GasBuddy.com, the national average price for a regular gallon of gas as of Wednesday was $3.16, well below last year's Memorial Day prices of $3.62. The skies will be just as busy, with more than 3.6 million people expected to fly over Memorial Day, and ticket prices are down.
The most affordable times to fly are right now at the very beginning of summer before mid-June.
Expedia travel expert Melanie Fish says travelers can score some last-minute Memorial Day deals right now.
If you want to hop on a plane this week to go to Spain or London from New York, you can get there for under $700.
And whether you're flying or driving, experts recommend giving yourself plenty of time to get to your destination safely. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Authorities are cracking down on a hacking tool that has been used in ransomware attacks, bank thefts, and other digital crimes. Wednesday, the Justice Department said it has seized the computer systems hackers used to access the tool known as Luma. Cyber criminals have used Luma to attack airlines, universities, hospitals, and state governments. They've also used it to create tens of millions of dollars in credit card losses. Former Apple design chief Jony Ive is joining ChatGPT maker OpenAI as it merges with his tech company I.O. A joint announcement from Ive and OpenAI's Sam Altman says the partnership will create artificial intelligence devices. The deal is reportedly worth $6.5 billion. The New York Times reports OpenAI already held a nearly 24% stake in I.O. And Ive has been collaborating with OpenAI for 2 years. Ive and his separate design firm, Love From, will take on design responsibilities for OpenAI and I.O. And the time is now 5:53, and we are going to check in with our coastal pet of the day. And today's coastal pets of the day are enjoying some time in the sunshine. On your screen right now are Sammy and Luma. As you can see, their favorite spot is to enjoy some nice weather is on their balcony. And these pups were submitted to us by Sandy in Millsboro. And of course, we want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. Send us photos and tell us what makes them so special. You can take a look at your screen, scan the QR code at the top of your screen, and submit your furry friend to CoastTV News. Then watch weekdays from 5 to 7 a.m. to see all of the pets we feature. It is 5:56, and we're going to take another look at our gloomy forecast, Bob. Oh, where's the sun? Where's that 80-degree weather we had just a week ago? It is late May.
I tell you what, though, the lawns are loving it, at least. They are green and getting really high now. So that's the thing that's enjoying the weather, and the ducks, too. The rest of us, not so much. Lots of clouds this morning, temperatures in the 50s and 60s. Watch for showers and storms this afternoon. Some of those could be on the strong side with some gusty winds. Paul Davis 10-day forecast. Do start to dry it out Friday, 68, then heading into the holiday weekend. Still on the cool side, 69 Saturday, 49 Sunday morning. Ooh, 72 on Sunday. Memorial Day, I think we could see a few showers, leaving it dry, being optimistic. 73, dry Tuesday, and then temperatures finally beginning to warm up as we head to the middle part of next week into the mid-70s. Looks like some showers Wednesday through Friday, and then by Saturday, hey, that's nice, 81 and partly cloudy skies.
Thank you, Bob. And coming up in our 6 o'clock hour, deadly D.C. shooting, where the investigation stands after 2 Israeli embassy staffers were killed last night. Stay with us on Coast TV News today.